Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Big show lined up. Special guest here in the studio. But first, as always, take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High 87, low 79. Water temperature brought to us by Allco Electric out of Lynn Haven. An even 82 degrees this morning. Our river readings, good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola, take a look at Apalachicola Bluntstown. It's right at 7 foot, a pretty steady 7 foot right there. The Choctaw Caribbean is raised up since yesterday, and it's like 6, we're at 4.5 going to 6, 4.5 this morning. Tide chart, Kent Forest Lawn, look at the high tide today. This morning at 9:43, a strong tide going out strongly all the way to about 9 o'clock tonight. So that's some really good outdoor weather. We got these, summer thunderstorms sort of popping in and out, but it's a pretty good day. It's not going to be quite as windy. It's going to be south-southwest at 5 to 10. I'm so tired of saying 10 to 20. I know a lot of y'all are tired of being out there in 10 to 20. So today, 5 to 10. All right, we'll take a break, come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, and look who's here this morning, Officer Travis Bassford.
Good morning.
Always great to have Travis here. We're sitting here talking about all kinds of stuff. We're going to try to get everything in here because all kinds of things have been going on. So we're going to get started, and we've got all kinds of situations and information. So Travis, let's get started.
Yeah,
what you got?
We've been sharing all kinds of information before we got on the air this morning. So glad to be here again as always. And yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Coach and I were talking quite a bit about boating safety and some boating accidents and things like that. We're in peak boating season now, being summertime. With snapper season, everything going on, everybody's wanting to get on the water and enjoy it, but we want them to do it safely. So I didn't know what you want to start with. Did you want to start with anything in particular?
Well, let's see. Any information. Let's do the information first. Do what all we got as far as we know. Snapper's going strong.
Oh yeah.
Gag's not open yet. We've thrown back some good gag grouper. I know you have pictures too. We're going to show some pictures next segment of some nice trip he went on.
Yeah, we have had to throw back some gags. Fortunately, red grouper's open. A lot of people catching some nice red grouper out there with their red snapper. But on the boating safety side of things, we just want to remind everyone, it's a core mission of FWC. I know when Officer Chris Boley was on here last time, we were wrapping up with National Safe Boating Week in May. And we just want to remind everyone, safety is the number one priority on the water. Florida is the boating capital of the world, the fishing capital of the world. We encourage everyone to get out and enjoy our natural resources, but do it in a safe manner. Yeah. And, Coach and I were just talking about some situations lately where we've had some unsafe things happen.
Tell us about, I showed a picture of the 7-year-old, you give us some details on your side of what, sure. Remember the 7-year-old, you got any food? That's when they found him. But tell us what happened.
Sure. No, that was just a great story that had a happy ending. And now that I'm kind of on the investigative side of things a lot, sometimes it's not always a happy ending, but this was. And this was one where we had a 7-year-old go missing over in Okaloosa County near Rocky Bayou. And when we got the call, received the call, it was, hey, we've got a 7-year-old missing on a paddleboard, no life jacket. They hadn't seen him in over an hour. Shortly after getting on scene, officers were able to find the paddleboard, but no child. So when we get that kind of information, and I was kind of hearing stuff come over the radio, it didn't sound good. So we had a lot of people going to that area. I already had some officers in the area. And thankfully, after another couple hours, they were able to locate the child. He'd actually went up a creek and had gotten off the paddleboard and was walking around in the woods. Okay. And thankfully, they were able to find him. And it was a multi-agency effort. So I want to recognize some of the other agencies. We had authorities from Eglin Air Force Base, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and FWC all there working together to locate this missing child. And I know we've got a few pictures. Maybe we can share here in a little bit of them actually bringing him down back down the creek into the bayou. So just a great story there. But sometimes it doesn't always end like that.
See,
so
I didn't know he'd gotten off the paddleboard and gotten into the woods. I wondered to get a snake bit.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Especially being around the water like that, moccasins and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, great job by the officers, and just so glad they were able to get that child back safely to his family.
Yeah. And then you had another incident. One of our viewers over at Crooked Island Sound, maybe last week before, where the boat was going round and around, and y'all got there. What happened on that one?
Sure. So we've actually had a couple of those runway vessels we've had just in the past month or so. We had one in St. Andrews Bay. Actually happened around Deepwater Point, Courtney Point area, for those of you familiar with that. And then the one you're talking about was over in Crooked Island Sound. And both times, in the one in St. Andrews Bay, one single operator was ejected, and then had a pretty good sized bay boat, about a 24-foot bay boat, circling around for a while. Finally, between FWC and CTO, we were able to get it stopped. And the same thing over in Crooked Island. That was actually a smaller boat. It was a stick-steering river boat. Yeah. But the guys were coming through back from the cut there, and you know how those rollers come in, hit a rogue wave, and went right out of the boat. So one thing we always encourage, actually been required since 2021, vessels less than 26 feet have that kill switch operational and have it on when you're running. And Coach and I were talking about places to clip that.
This is interesting, because they thought they had it on. It may or may not have, but a lot of times that we put it on your shirt or something, it'll slip off.
It will, yeah.
Sometimes. And then, so what do y'all do?
So it depends, because we know a lot of people, they might not wear shoes. It depends on what size boat you're on, what you're doing. If you've got a pair of deck shoes, we got boots. Now, when we're in the pass in Grand Lagoon and we're stopping a lot of boats, we're coming back and forth from the helm. So if we're just idling around checking boats, we'll sometimes take that off. But when we're running, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll clip it on the shoelace of our boot. So if you go, that usually holds pretty good, because like you said, sometimes on a fishing shirt, whether it's Columbia short or a pair of shorts, it can slip off. But the whole goal is, if you do leave the vessel, it will cut it and cut power so it doesn't come back around, because sometimes it gets in a circle, and if you're in the water and get in between that, it's very dangerous. That prop coming back could strike you.
Yeah, we had a fatality here in Bay County a couple of years ago. That's exactly what happened there. I know you were one of the first ones on the scene. I remember that. So all these are true life situations happening here. So we just got to be careful. It's a good idea on that kill switch to put it down there on your boot. Of course, a lot of us wear sandals and all, but I'm gonna start, but really make sure it's secure.
Yeah, if you've got a belt loop,
a belt is good too.
That's something solid. But a lot of people, especially if you're running offshore, a lot of people have deck shoes on like that. If you can clip it down there to your shoelace, it's a pretty good thing to clip to where it'll hold. So
could be a lifesaver. Yep. Okay, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and we're talking about a situation there on that happy ending with that 7-year-old. I just can't get over all of that happening. So anyway, let's see. Let me see. Well, I've got a technical difficulty. We had it all worked out. All right. So anyway, tell us. You've been some other situations too. I know you can't tell a lot of details. But
no, just on the boating safety thing. While we're trying, we had a couple pictures we were going to share with you guys, but I was saying Florida's the boating capital of the world, so we lead the nation every year in registered vessels. We have over 1 million registered vessels in the state, but unfortunately we also lead the nation every year in fatal boating accidents. And we usually average somewhere between 50 and 70 fatal accidents a year.
Is that how many?
Right, wow. And the two leading causes, it seems like every year, are drowning, or not having the life jacket on, or having readily accessible, and impaired operators. So people that are operating a vessel that are under the influence of alcohol, chemical, or controlled substance. So that's another thing we just want to encourage. If you're going to go out and have alcohol on the boat, make sure you've got a designated driver, just like you would in a vehicle. And then make sure that you've got the required safety gear for your vessel. Make sure you've got enough life jackets for everyone on board, they're the proper size, and that they're readily accessible. So in an emergency situation, you can get to them.
Okay, we got it right here. So these guys, this little boy, I was showing this the other day, but I know you have U.S. Fish and Wildlife, or you guys.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good picture there. Bringing him in with the paddleboard.
Look at a big old smile on his face.
He was happy there, and we were too. So that's U.S. Fish and Wildlife on the left, and then that's FWC Officer Thomas Pritchard on the right. There with the missing 7-year-old. Just a lot of people coming together to find him, and again, we're just so glad it was a happy ending and they were able to get him safely back to his family.
That's true too. So anyway, okay, what else you got there?
Now we were just talking about boating accidents and making sure you've got a designated operator if you choose to drink while you're out on the water, making sure you've got the proper safety gear. Another thing too that we encourage too, it's only required for you to have the boating safety ID card if you're born after January 1st, 1988. But if you were born before that date and you want to take it, you can go online. You can still take the course, familiarize yourself. It'll familiarize you with the safety requirements on a boat, navigation rules, what to do in case of emergency and things like that. So that's another thing too that I think it was like 70 or 80% of operators involved in fatal boating accidents last year had no formal boater education. So just getting that safety ID card and taking that, it's a free course you can take online, familiarize yourself with kind of the rules of the water and what to do in case of emergency and the safety requirements.
That's good. We got this next picture. Let's go to talking about little kids having fun fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Check out this one right here, folks. Tell us about this one.
Well, we got to go out. A lot of times we're working it the seasons, but a few days after opening day, we had some calm seas, and that's why we were able to go out, take the family out, and catch some snapper. He was happy about that. And I asked him, I said, "Do you want to hold that big one?" And he said, "Yeah." And his arms got tired, so he had to bring it down.
Of course, I want to hold a big one. I do.
Yeah.
And we got some more pictures, but we'll get those up in a minute. So
yeah, but we had a great time out there, and like you were talking about, had a nice gag we had to release. That's another thing too. Thankfully, he swam down. Anytime you bring a fish up from depth, they suffer that bear trauma a lot of times, depending on how fast you bring them up. So I want to make sure everyone's got a descending device or a venting tool where you're able to vent that fish, get the air out of him, and get him back down.
that's really remarkable. We had the same thing Saturday on our boat. We got a big old gag, and then we're able to vent him, and it watched him. So cool to see him swim back down. Just everything's fine, because if you don't, we lose a lot of them.
Exactly. And we've got a reduced harvest for gag this year. It's a very limited season, and it's not going to be open during the summertime like a lot of people are used to. But what they're trying to do is rebuild that fishery a little bit. And I've heard of a lot of nice gag catches. Hopefully they can make it back down, and when it comes open,
I think it's like an 11-day season or something, or
it's going to be reduced. Yes, sir.
some very, very short seasons. And
but red groupers open, and been seeing a lot of people bringing some nice red groupers. So.
And I know, like you went on your fishing trip, there's nothing like getting that fish back to the house, and we get ours clean now. I used to clean my own, but I know you probably at your age you still clean your own, but eat them fresh, when you're coming out of the water, and within a day or two. That's some good eating.
It is good, and that's just the kind of the whole process of it, and passing that down to our kids, where they can see, hey, we're going to go out, we're going to catch the fish, we're not going to keep everything we catch, we're going to keep what we can, right. And it's still plenty for us to eat and enjoy, and share with our family and friends. So that's what it's all about. I just want to remind everyone, about having a descending device or a venting tool on board. Another thing too, it's been for a long time with reef fish, circle hooks. And then another thing we highly recommend, we talked about gags being closed, triggerfish are closed right now, amberjack's closed. We highly recommend that Fish Rules app. It's great. It actually updates your location no matter where you're at, and you can get on there and look. They've got usually some good pictures of the fish for ID. I know we had some questions on, whether it's a banded rudderfish or a greater amberjack or an almaco jack. You can go to Fish Rules. They'll tell you the size limits. They'll tell you the bag limits, the seasons, and then some good photos and some things to look for on fish ID. We've had some other people, confusing gag grouper and black grouper. They've got some great descriptors on there for that. So just a great app and a resource to have, because sometimes these things can get complicated. Sometimes the regulations can change, and that app stays up to date. And again, we endorse it and recommend it.
I'm a firm believer in it. When I first put it on, I didn't think I was going to use it much. I got it where I was using it all the time, because a lot of times there's similarities within groupers and all, and I'd highly recommend it. We used to have those little paper ones. After we print out those paper ones, just pull them out of the tackle box, and this is a lot better.
And they get wet and things like that.
I know.
Then for years we had that, and I still see it on some boats. You have that that sticky ruler or tape that you put on, then it would have the size limits for fish that maybe were 10 years ago, and sometimes those change. So
my generation, it's hard for us to adapt to change, especially this kind of stuff. But man, sometimes it's really good. And that Fish Rules app is great.
It is. I remember for years I had that Florida Sportsman law stick.
I did too. Yeah.
But again, those things can change, and that's what's great about the app. It updates.
It's changed more now than it ever has, as far as because the research on the grouper, for instance, sports season and all, we never really had it like that. So and we're going to have more of it coming up.
Yeah, and it's ebbs and flows. I mean, look, we've had the longest red snapper season in recent history, really, memory. I can remember this year, and then we've got a reduced harvest for gags. So it's kind of an ebb and flow. We've seen it. And
the flounder size went up from 10, 12, 14. I mean, it's, the size keeps going up, and also
and they put a season on them as well.
Yeah, and the size of the speckled trout. So it's all important. All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. One time, 12:03 to 2:03, and y'all take a look at that big full moon tonight, and that's why I have that middle of the day feeding time right there. So good time to get out and catch some fish. And there are all kinds of things going on, but I know Memorial Day is always just a huge day because so many people on the water, and I know y'all so y'all having a situation where y'all had to take care of?
We did. It was super busy, and that's kind of like the official kickoff for summer. Right. A lot of kids are out of school, and we've got more and more visitors. But one thing I want to share, and a lot of people, they see us out there on the water working, but just over Memorial Day weekend here in Bay County, our officers made over 25 saltwater resource cases, ranging from undersized scamp, and then closed season we had triggerfish, amberjack undersized. We had gag grouper in the closed season, and then people keeping too many red snappers. Sometimes they would keep over the bag limit, fillet those fish, hide them from our officers. But they did really, really good. Super proud of those guys and girls for working their tails off, really, while they're responding to calls, also being proactive and patrolling the resource, making sure people are following the rules and regulations. So
I had a situation. I meant to ask. I almost called you, but it was a friend of mine, and there were two guys. They were young people, two guys, and then a couple, a guy and a girl, and they went out snapper fishing, and they caught 8 snapper for 4 people. Well, they came back in, and you guys checked them, which is everything fine, and they checked the license. Well, the girl didn't have a license. They thought the girl had a license, and they wrote them up, which legally you should. But she said, I didn't know, you know how that kind of go. But if you can bring in, you got 4 people, you bring in 8 snapper, you got to have 4 licenses. It's as simple as that. So, and they got fined. So I thought, it wasn't funny to them, but it's sort of funny to me. They should have known that.
They forgot to get one, I guess, before
and
they
boating under influence, I guess, on holidays, y'all still getting some of that.
We did, yep. We had some cases made with boating under the influence. That's a number one, priority. We just want to make sure everyone's safe, and if someone's impaired operating, we want to get them off the water before they hurt themselves or somebody else. But yeah, another thing on that license, I was just thinking, hadn't mentioned it in a while, that the Fish Hunt Florida app, great resource too. You can just buy your license right on your phone. And what I recommend, we check people, in the bay, in the Gulf, way offshore. Once you get that license, if you'll pull up that page, take a screenshot, just save it in your photos to your favorites, and you've always got it. And I would say, this day and time, when I check people, I would say over 50-60%, I'm checking an electronic license.
Is that right?
Something on their phone. I'm seeing less and less paper. It doesn't get wet. Yep. And let's face it, we always have our phone on us. Yep. Rarely are we going to go anywhere, especially in a boat, without having our phone. So you get the Fish Rules app, the Fish Hunt Florida app, save that license screenshot on your phone, and then you're always good to go, ready. And it's been a really good fishing season so far, and even in the bay, seeing some nice catches of trout, redfish, and flounder. People really getting out and enjoying. We've had pretty good weather and enjoying the resource. So
I have seen some really good catches in the bay system. Also, up under the bridges, I thought we showed the shark yesterday. We caught up there at the Lynn Haven Bridge, and of course you caught and released it. But the sharks are all over.
What kind of shark they get up there at the Bailey?
That was looked like a little blacktip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it was about that big. But, a lot of drum had been caught.
Oh, big black drum?
Nice drum had been caught. About a month ago, they had a run of really good ones. And the pompano bite was good back in April.
Yep.
We were able to get some, and other people did good on it.
Did you go to Cape and pop no fish?
Yeah,
Good.
we did good. And had some other friends that went and did good. We got a tagged redfish, CCA tagged redfish, and they supposedly released 4 tagged redfish. Well, we've already had 2 caught by unregistered. Well, one up in Tahar Bayou in Scammy Bay,
Yep.
and then one 2 days ago in Hernando County. So
wow.
I said the next one now should be right here in the Panhandle. So hopefully we'll catch one.
So when you say 4 across the state?
4 in each bay system.
Oh, in each bay
4
system.
in each bay system. In fact,
great.
I'm having the CCA people coming on next Tuesday on the show, and we're going to talk about it. But along the Gulf Coast, every bay system has had 4 tagged redfish, so that's been fun to keep up with.
Oh yeah, I remember when they started that years ago. We had someone catch one right there, and they brought it into Bonita Bay, didn't they?
Yep,
the East
sure
Bay
did.
area.
Yep.
Yep,
Well, yeah, I
remember
knew the board called him, but he was not registered. Michael Turner was not registered because he called me, Coach, what I do? I said, are you registered? And no, sir. I said, release it. And so he released it. So the next day, everybody going to try to catch it.
Oh yeah. No, CCA is a great organization.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing they do to kind of get people involved.
Yeah, it is. It is.
In red fishing, and if you register, you win pretty good prize, right?
Yep. On the freshwater side, you seen anything on freshwater, catfishing and bass fishing, and doing pretty strong?
I have seen some. I know last month, the last full moon, the brim were on the bed, and we were seeing some good catches up in Seminole, even on Deer Point. And then, I actually went out bass fishing a little bit last month and did pretty good. So, freshwater's doing good. A lot of people getting out on the rivers, enjoying that. It's just been busy, and that's to be expected this time of year. So, again, we just want to encourage everyone to be safe out there. One more thing I forgot to mention earlier. I know we got to wrap up on time. Make sure you've got a float plan when you go. Tell somebody where you're going, what boat you're using, who's going to be with you, and what time you're going to be back. That way, in case of emergency, we know, Coast Guard knows where to start looking and what we're looking for. So.
That is so important. I don't have time to get into some of the old school float plans used to work, but you got it now. You got to let folks know where you go.
Absolutely.
And y'all know where that 7-year-old kid, y'all knew sort of where he was.
Yep.
So we got to wrap it up. Travis, thank you so much.
Yeah, enjoyed it as always.
Get back and tell Officer Nicole hello, and I know she's working hard.
Will do.
Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate your viewership. Do something good for someone else today. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.